Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Cinema d'Amore. I'm your host, Chuck, joined by
Justin.
And this week, there was just no other choice for movies. There's nothing else we could go with.
Great joke.
We had to do it.
Great joke. There was no other choice for what movie? What movie did we pick, Chuck?
There's no other choice.
But what movie did you
I did pick the great film, No Other Choice. The South Korean film. It is a line that gets brought up multiple times in that movie. That's like every character's excuse in this movie is they're all just like, for any of their actions, they always just go, there's really no other choice. I did enjoy that it's not just the main character's film, it's every character in the movie. Whenever they're confronted by like anything that they're doing, they always just go, there's just no other choice.
Right. And there's always a simplistic like answer to what could easily fix this person's problem, and they're like, I had no other choice.
It's just what had to be done.
Yeah.
This is
Park Chan-wook.
Chan-wook. We've done a bunch of his movies already. He doesn't make bad movies. He's incapable of. I mean, I'll say the only one of his I'm not aware of at all because I've never seen it, and I don't even know where it would be streaming. Is what's the one? It's Okay, I'm a Cyborg.
Yeah,
that's the only one I haven't seen.
That's his best one.
Of course it is. The one that's the hardest to find would be the best one.
I think I'm confusing my directors, but did he do the joint security thing? What is it? JSA?
Yeah.
I have that, and I still have to watch that. So, but everything else I've seen, I think that he makes some of the best movies. He has some of the best visuals in his mind, like that he puts out there. He's the closest, if you want to like connect him to somebody of the past, he's the closest to Hitchcock because he's huge on that like thriller aspect of, the audience knows this is here, but the characters don't know this is here. So what's going to happen? He does that throughout the whole all of his movies. And
this movie had a ton of moments that were very Hitchcockian.
Yeah, tons
like
of them.
There's so many, but he does them really well that they don't just feel like he's ripping it off. Like he just does a really great shot. The editing's always really, really great. I think especially like the last few movies, Decision to Leave and this, have like some really weird edits where he's like fading in and out of characters in the same scene. Like he's just like putting their faces over top of other moments and just fades back and forth.
Yeah, his sound design's fucking fantastic. The visual effects are fantastic because they're almost, you don't notice them. It's usually just like hiding things or adding things, and it's not just fades and stuff, but like he'll do reflections and shit like that. And
yeah,
he's definitely not an Oscar darling. He hasn't been nominated in a long time. I think his shit's just too violent. I don't know.
It's very dark. it's very dark. It's compared to like the other biggest South Korean director who obviously has been nominated and won an Academy Award, Bong Joon-ho. A few of his movies are also very dark, but never in the same way. Like even Memories of a Murder never gets like as dark as most of these films that he does, especially going back to his earlier like Old Boy and Lady Vengeance. They're dark. Maybe the only person that goes darker at all would be like I Saw the Devil, like Kim Ji-woon. That might be the only one that goes. Another director that I could think of that goes like
that
way darker than him.
And awesome. And
yeah,
this movie is endearing at times, and then
it's funny. It's definitely his funniest movie. Like he has comedy in his other films, even the dark ones, but like this one definitely is his funniest movie.
Yeah,
not like a flat out comedy, but there
is a lot of dark humor.
More as like a comedy of errors. It's almost like leans into that.
Yeah, I mean it does. It just keeps coming up again and again and again. Sometimes things are like smaller. The premise is this guy works at a paper company, and he loses his job when foreigners take over, and they're trying to advance things into the future where they're cutting people out. So they're losing their jobs. And
it might be, I'll say, because I know a little bit of like the background to this is The book was written. The book this is based on was written in 1997, and I think he said been trying to make this movie since like 2009 or something like that. Like he's wanted to make this forever, but it maybe helped that it took this long to get the screen because it really fits everything going on even closer to modern times, fits it really well with the automation, AI, like removing people's jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The technology really, really fits too. I mean, I guess the only part of the premise that I misunderstood, I guess, before the first time that I watched it was I thought that he like 3D printed a gun. I thought that that's where it was going because, obviously we've had people assassinate people or attack people by doing that. And he literally gets in this movie like a replica of like an old
Just a
war gun.
plastic model. Yeah.
Yeah, so he just replaces the real gun with with the model gun. But everything else, I mean, I didn't really know anything else about the movie going into it except that it's a guy trying to like kill the competition so that he can get a job. But I don't even know if that's a good I don't even know if that's a good description for this movie because that is what it is at like a basic
Yeah.
level. But like the movie is so much more clever than that when, it basically comes down to he is basically very rich from this. He's been in this business for a long time. His family is used to this comfortable life, and then he gets fired. And I love even the very opening scene of him with his family, and you're getting to know them a little bit, where like his kids playing the cello, which is like very expensive, and his wife just doesn't do anything. She's like plays tennis and got her dancing shoes. She's all interested in this dancing stuff, and they got this beautiful house with this greenhouse with all his like plants and stuff that he does. And he's like, "Yeah, my company, they sent this eel over. We're eating so good tonight. They love me." And then it's like within 10 minutes when they're trying to talk to the Americans, and he's just like, the guy's like, "Did you get the eel?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Buddy, that's not good. You got the eel. That means they're getting rid of your ass." And yeah, it cuts to like an AA for unemployment.
Like a support group. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is also another really clever thing too, because I mean, I don't really know much about the culture. I'm assuming that it's probably pretty accurate for what's in Korea, but how they're making them do those like mantras and tapping their head and stuff. It's a really cool visual because later on you see other people using it, so like that's a person that's out of work or that's another person that's trying to get this job. But yeah,
Yeah, it's a great like you said, yeah, the basic plot of it is that he's got to kill everybody that's in his way to move up. But it does play a lot more of just straight up like a family drama and how it affects everyone in his family, which I love when the mom has to tell everyone, "Yeah, I can't do tennis lessons. We're gonna have to sell the car and get a smaller one. We got to cancel Netflix." And like the son's like, "Oh God, I got to go watch this show
you
before
hear the
we cancel it."
ta-dum.
Then
They like they're
yeah,
looking.
he's like, I got to go finish. I got to watch this show before we cancel Netflix. But yeah, the biggest thing is they need the money because his daughter. They never flat out say. I guess it's probably that she's supposed to be like autistic. She's nonverbal, other than she just repeats things that people say. And they're like, but the only thing she's good at is playing the cello. Even though we don't know that because she won't actually play the cello for us. She just plays like single notes, and we don't know what she's doing. But everyone's like, no, she's a prodigy. She's gonna be amazing one
There's a
day.
really good moment too where like I think he's watching his YouTube videos on his phone, and his daughter's like listening to the TV with a headset on, and she's like scooches really close to the TV so she can watch the fingers on the cello, and the mom not paying attention just like drags her away from the TV like she's too close,
Yeah.
like as if she's watching like mindless stuff. But yeah, it has a great transition of the whole AA thing, the meeting for the unemployment seminar is like, well, I'll be back on my feet in 3 months. And it does a great transition where it says 3 months and then they add a 1 to it. So it's like
Yeah.
13 months later. And
He's
then,
working in like a Costco or something.
yeah. And he's like just lying to people on the phone because he's embarrassed. And he, is that when he has the interview, or does he have the interview right afterwards where like his buddy set him up with an interview with the paper?
Yeah, that's when he has the interview because he starts like the guy like fires him while he's on the dock, so he has to like take all his clothes off on the loading dock to like
Uh,
take off his uniform before he leaves.
yeah. Then he has that interview where like the sun's like in his face and his buddy's there, and his buddy's trying to be like, okay, stop talking about your personal life, like cut it off. But he can't fucking see because the sun's like right in his damn face. So he just keeps going and going and going. But
He gives him the advice. He's like, you have to come up with a weakness. He wants to know what your weakness
yeah,
is because you can't say you're perfect. You have to have some sort of weakness. And the guy's like, well, tell us your weakness. And he just goes, no. And like, I'll just freeze. And he's like, that's what I can't say at all to people.
yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. And he gets to a point where like he's begging to get a job and he's just get so pathetic, and he's afraid he's going to lose his wife to this like younger guy that she's like playing tennis with, who's a doctor, who says
Well,
that,
yeah, her boss that she works with.
yeah, says that he'll hire her as like an assistant, no issue or whatever. So he's drinking and he just starts following this guy, and like on a
Well, he doesn't
whim.
drink yet.
Oh, he doesn't
He doesn't
drink.
drink yet. He had the apple juice.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what his wife's like. She's like, you went to a bar to drink apple juice.
But yeah, he's
Yeah, but
following this guy, and like I feel like the scene is he's trying to get out of the way. Like I don't know necessarily like he's going to kill him the whole time. It feels more like in the moment when he's like gets to this like balcony, somebody's like private area, residence or whatever, with all these
I
plants.
think at first it's just he's like trying to get him alone to be like to like beg him in person, like, come on, man, you got to give me a job. You got to give me a job. Like, you got to help me out. But yeah, when he sees the plants, he starts thinking like, I mean, I could just drop one of these on this guy's head.
Yeah, and it's like it's so funny because he just gets like the biggest plant that he could find, and he more or less gets stopped by this woman who's just like what the hell are you doing in my yard? But she kind of has like a nonchalant attitude, so maybe it's like more of a public area, like it's a shared area for like more than one house. I don't know, but
I mean, he gets up there pretty easy. He doesn't have to like break it or anything. So
yeah, and he's like basically she thwarts it, and then he has like the realization that he can't kill this guy because if he kills this guy, they're going to replace him with somebody that's better than he is. So he more or less comes up with the idea that he's going to have to like figure out who his competition is and kill the people that are like actually his competition. And I like how he just buys that plant, and he's really into the wiring of the bonsai trees, and like, which is kind of important, like I guess for like his how he's going to cover up some of his crimes. Which, Chuck, crime's really hard. Like it's really hard to do crime sometimes. But he's
I
like
do, yeah.
he's not like exactly an idiot, but he's definitely not. He's not prepared to go through what he's attempting to do. And yeah, he makes up a paper company based off of the red pepper plant that he bought off that lady. I guess that's his eureka, his epiphany is what, where he
Yeah.
had his epiphany.
Just so he can get resumes.
Yeah, I
And then
also like
grades
his
them all and
yeah, we're a paper company, so they better be on paper. We're not going to accept any of
yeah.
those emails.
When he takes, I like when he's like trying to make his final decision and he's like moving himself up the list. He's like, I'm better than that guy. And then he's like reading the other guy's resume and he's like, no, that guy's better than me. I'm gonna have to kill that guy. Like he's trying to have to kill the least amount of people, which is a great like in theory he could kill all like 50 people that send him resumes. He could just kill every one of them. But he's like, no, these guys would never be better than me at the job anyway. I can only kill people that are above me. in
I mean,
terms
there's
of this.
also
And
a
he's like,
huge plot hole where like there could just be somebody who didn't apply or wasn't in the area whenever that, that came up or something. But yeah, he grades them like a teacher, and then he's like, "Yeah, these three people are would get the job over me based off of their history." And I can't remember what the one guy was. It was like 2 years experience as like the president of. He's like, "God damn it, he's better than I am." I think they're like, I don't even remember who they all are. The one guy was like Go, and the other guy was Goo, and I'm like, way to have very similar names there, people. But then when he picks his first guy, well, I guess slightly before, but around the same time that he's doing the resumes and stuff, we start getting introduced to some of these other people. And the one guy, I think it's Goo Bama. He's like kind of in the same situation. It looks like he's just with his wife, and they have a nice house. He's won the same goddamn award, the Pulp Man of the Year award. It's a very big award. And his method that he's gone on is he's just drinking himself to death. And he is not doing anything with his life because he feels that he put too much time in the paper and he doesn't want to do anything else. Like his wife keeps bringing up this cafe that like her father would have offered him, and he's like, no, I'm a paper man. Paper's been my whole life. So you start getting the insight on this guy, and you really do see his life start to like perk up when he sees this job, and he's like, oh hell yeah. And he like does kind of start really getting himself together, like in preparation for this interview, or hoping to get this interview from mailing in his resume. But yeah, I guess that's when you start getting into like the parallels between the two characters, where I don't necessarily know if the protagonist is like picking up on the fact that this guy is so similar to him, or he's just like outright gonna kill him. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know where to go with this, Chuck, because almost everything's so extremely visual. Like he shows up to the house, there's a guy sneaking out. Oh shit, there's cameras. He's trying to get the layout of this place and who's there. And so he starts spying on them. And like, he is really fucking funny when he's spying on them, because it's like Ace Ventura or something, where he's like, they're like walking through the woods and he's like dodging from tree to tree, like terribly in the background, but they don't seem to notice him. He also does like a weird thing where he picks up phrases from this guy and habits from this guy. Like he like, I don't know if like that like chicken thing where he's like eating the chicken and then like, being really fucking disgusting, where I'm talking about the first guy, the Goo, where they're having the flat where she's talking about how the time that they first met, and it looked like maybe there was a fire or emergency or something like at a movie theater. So he's like taking her out, and he's like so kind. And she's like, I fell in love with you. And it's like a close up shot of his like greasy ass lips eating chicken. Like, what the hell did I get myself into? Like, how is this the man that I got involved with? This is definitely not the same guy that I'm with. And I feel like maybe that's kind of like a parallel too to our main character. He's not the guy that his family thinks that he is.
Yeah. This is when the wife starts to get suspicious too, because he gets bit by a snake, and that guy's wife like sucks the poison out, which then he looks it up later because she says she played a doctor in a play or something. She's like, I know how to do this. And then he reads it, and everything she did was completely the opposite of what you're supposed to do. And wife's like, are you sure you're okay? And he's like, well, I'd be dead by now if it was actually poisonous. Like,
if it was a poisonous
I'm
snake, I'd have been dead.
I'm definitely not gonna die. I'd be dead by now. But yeah, she starts to get suspicious when things like that. It's like, you go on these job interviews and you're eating fried chicken and getting bit by snakes in the woods. Like, what are these job interviews like? And so yeah, but yeah, I do enjoy the connections they make with these characters. Like you said, there's similarities to them, I think he even brings up like, what am I supposed to do? Get a new job? Open a cafe? And she's like, why are you so specific about a cafe? Like, is that something you've been thinking of? Because the other woman with goo says, you love music. You could open a music cafe. And yeah, he starts thinking about it, which I think that's like another recurring thing with his family. The wife seems to start to notice that, like, if he would put as much work as he's doing into killing these people and getting rid of them, like, he probably could just get another job that's not in paper. Like, he could just do something else, but
Right. He's not learning the
he's really
lessons
into
from these
paper.
other people that he should be.
Yeah.
And
He's just really into that paper and can't get away from it.
which there's like a great moment where like I don't understand, like there's a moment where he's going into the house to kill the guy and it's his wife having an affair and he's like fuck, so he leaves the house cuz the guy's not there. And then as he's driving back to his house or wherever the hell he's going, the guy passes him and he's like, "Oh fuck, this guy's going to find out about his wife." And like I don't like he tries to stop him, which is such a weird. I don't know if it's like, is he trying to stop him because this is going to throw off his, like, he's not going to know where this guy is. He's going to lose the
And I think
advantage.
it's because he starts identifying with him, and it's like that's what he thinks his
Yeah.
wife's doing with the doctor, with like her boss, and he's like, oh man, maybe this guy's life is like mine. Oh, I don't want this guy to find out his wife's cheating on him.
Yeah. So he calls him up for like an interview. Like, he's like, yeah, like gets him all excited. He can't talk the guy. Like, he tries to talk the guy like away. He goes in that weird spot. Like, he's like, that's where the reception's the best. He's like, it is. But he still goes inside and he still finds his wife and he gets all upset. And then I think he kind of makes it worse by like not answering his call anymore. So like this guy's just like totally hopeless. And he goes back to like his ways of just like it's not gonna work out and drinking and stuff. And I think this is probably the funniest part in the entire movie is when he goes to kill this guy, the first guy. And he's like extremely covered up for violence, like so he doesn't like get blood on him. And he also is very ill timed because is it the wife that just comes? The wife comes home like right as he's like basically going to kill this guy, and he's got the volume all the way up. The guy's intoxicated. The wife comes in and sees like that there's like an intruder in the house, so she grabs the Pulp Man of the Year award to bash his head in, and it's really fucking funny because the guy's like the victim is like bitching and complaining that like he had no other choice and he did what he could do, but he like life's against him. And the wife's about to like bash in their main character's head, and then the main character has like this traumatic response where he's like, if you just fucking got off your ass and started doing the cafe job like your wife wanted you to, then we wouldn't be in this situation where like I have to kill you. And the wife's really funny in the background because she's like, exactly. We if you just got off your damn ass. But yeah, he accidentally shoots the guy. Like, I mean, I know he intentionally went there to shoot the guy, but he accidentally fires the gun. And then it's like the funniest thing of them like struggling for the gun. And the guy gets the guy gets shot again. But it is like a very slapstick, like his face is seen, she gets the gun off of him, he runs for his life, and the guy does die, and she reprimands him for his wife reprimands him for dying so easily just with 2 gunshot wounds, chases our guy down, and he does get away. But when he comes back to the scene of the crime, more or less, he's trying to get his gun back. He sees that like they're burying they're burying her and her lover is like burying this guy in the yard, and I don't know. He's like, see, it's fine. They're moving on. They're over this.
Yeah. And then he has another guy to kill who's also kind of pathetic, but in a completely different way, working at a shoe store and just doesn't generally seem very good at his job selling shoes. Like, doesn't doesn't really know how to help the customer. Doesn't seem like a people person. Seemed like he was better working in a factory where all he had to do was work with the machines making paper. He was very, very nervous and awkward around anybody.
Yeah, there's not as much with the second guy as much as this is more or less where the main character really starts to botch things. He pulls over like on the side of the road and pretends to be broken down because this guy has like an engineering background. And it's funny because when the guy does pull up behind him, he's like, "Oh, that's okay. I have an engineering background. I was made for this." And yeah, murders this guy, leaves his shell casing behind, puts him in the trunk. And this is the same night that like his son gets caught stealing like iPhones, smartphones, and stuff with his buddy. So like, this is where you get where like he immediately has to go to the police station in his car with the fucking body in the car, and the wife's like getting in the car like we have to go, we have to follow our son down there. We got to figure this out. We got to get this figured out like ASAP. And
They have the great moment when he wakes up. He spends all night trying to dig that grave in
yeah,
his backyard, and then his wife wakes him up when he's like sleeping on the couch all dirty. And she's like, "The cops are here," and he walks out and he's like, "All right, guys, I'll tell it to you all at the station. Let's go." And they're like, "What are you talking about, sir?
he's
I'm
like,
here for your
I'm a
son. What's
terrible
going
dad.
on?"
Yeah, I'm a terrible dad. I'll be honest with you, Chuck. There's so much going there. Like every second of this movie is used so well that I don't know. We're probably not going to be able to cover like every single little minor detail, but
Yeah.
they are so good. Like even like his personal life, when they go over all the stuff that he likes, and they get to the point where we're gonna have to sell the house, and it's like their one friend through their kids or whatever who's looking at buying the house, and like everything that guy loves, he's like, we're gonna tear down that fucking ugly ass greenhouse back there, and we're gonna change all this shit. So it's just like super super devastating to him. And yeah, I do like that part where he gets to the station, the wife's like parking the car, and he's talking to he's like, can I have a moment with my son? And he's just like, he's like, committing committing crime's really hard. It's a hard thing to do. But you know what? We're gonna blame it on your fucking friend. It was all his fault. No, Dad, it was my fault. No, it wasn't. Yeah, and they each have their like different approaches to dealing with getting their son out of this case, where like the mom's like going to seduce the guy, I guess. I don't feel like she's gonna sleep with the guy, but she's like, I'm just gonna show him a little bit of nips, and he's just gonna drop the charges and we'll be fine. And Dad's like, nah, we'll fucking blackmail him. Like, we know that you use that shot for bringing women there who aren't your wife and stuff, and we're not afraid to tell anybody about it. So like he goes like the criminal route instead of the seduction route, I guess. Also, when's the dance? When does that happen?
It was when he killed that guy that night on the highway.
Yeah. And they were like, "Where's your mom at?" And it's like, "Oh, she's at the dance." He's like, "God damn, the dance that I meant to go with." So like, yeah, he's like, this guy is really crashing out. He thinks that he's losing his wife, his family, his house. He already lost his job. He feels that like since he put so much time into this paper business that like he can't do anything else. But yeah, I mean,
It's
you even
just
get
his life.
you
When
get
the cops show up too, there's a great moment when the after the second guy does go missing and he ends up burying him in the backyard, which yeah, he can't cut him up. He wraps him up like a bonsai tree and like buries him under another tree in the yard, which is great. But when
that's
the
a great moment though too, because like his son who smokes goes out on the roof to smoke at night. So he goes out on the roof to smoke, and he sees like the lights or something. So he looks over in the greenhouse, which his dad like almost like completely covered up with tarps, except for like one little spot. And he sees like a fucking like human leg. So and his dad has a chainsaw in his hand. So he's like, oh fuck, my dad's cutting people up. And he is gonna cut people up, but then he's just like, this is too messy. So he gets his wiring, his bonsai tree wiring, and just wires this guy into like the tiniest grotesque ball of flesh. And buries him under the what do they do? An apple tree, which is Mir's the first guy who has a peach tree where they're like, you're not even taking care of it. The bugs are eating it. And the same thing's like happening with his apple tree with like his kids. Like there's insects are just eating the hell out of this apple tree, Dad. But yeah, so he buries that guy in that giant hole with the tree. His wife eventually goes out there. When does she like full on suspect that he's murdering people? Is it after the police are
The
coming
kid
looking?
tells her. Yeah, well, the kid tells her like he thought he saw something in the greenhouse.
Yeah, and then she goes and
She digs up the tree.
She digs up the tree. She finds the body and her choices. She had no other choice. She lies to her kid and just is like, yeah, he buried a pig back there, so that's what you saw. Even though it was like clear as day a human foot that kid saw. But he's like, yeah, he just put a whole pig back there. That's just a good way to fertilize that tree. But yeah, he fucks up with the dance. His wife's basically says that she's committed to him and has always been committed to him, and that he's just because he's like feeling inadequate, he's reading the situation wrong. That she's really not doing anything with this guy. He's just jealous of this guy. And I also think he's like jealous, like he's not who he used to be. Like he's not feeling confident or anything. So that's kind of where we move into like the third and final guy. He's the guy that's been running those YouTube videos. Also fucking terrifying. Like that guy, I guess it's because he's been drinking, because he pulls up to his house and there's just a dude waiting for him at the bottom of his, like, I don't know if he recognizes does he recognize the guy?
Yeah.
Like he's just like, I know we had that altercation where I was trying to get trying to get a job. You remember me? I was the guy begging on the bathroom floor and shit. And he's like, I brought whiskey and I already smell whiskey on your breath. Do you want some whiskey? And the guy's like, hell yeah. Oh, also, we never talked about his fucking tooth. He like,
That just hurts him through the whole movie.
yeah, within a year, he has like a very, very bad tooth infection. And this tooth's bothering him the whole time. His wife goes to work with his doctor, who's a dentist, or does some sort of oral surgery or something like that. And they're always like, just stop on by. But like, he hates this guy so much that like he won't go. And his other, like, one of his friends too is like, you should get that tooth taken care of like before you start working, because you're never going to have time for that tooth. So yeah, when he's on his last guy, he decides to take care of he decides to take care of his tooth too by ripping it out. His plan is fucking wild, where he just like intoxicates this guy, like gets him all. Did he drug his stuff too, or just drink him to death? Because like
I think they were just drunk.
yeah, because he's not really drinking. He has like a fucking stainless steel bowl that he's like pouring all his drinks into. He does finally have that last beer though, with the shot dropped in it. That's like his first. I guess that's like, when an author finishes a book and they're like, I get to drink my wine or whatever. Like I feel like it's like, yeah, I've accomplished everything. This is gonna be my last kill. And yeah, it's just fucking gross where he buries the guy neck deep in the ground, which I feel like would have taken way too much time for him to. I mean, we saw him digging the hole before the guy got home, because he's digging the hole at the same time that his wife's like undigging the tree to see what's underneath of
Yeah.
it. But yeah, he buries him neck deep. The guy's intoxicated.
That's the moment she definitely knows when she calls him on
Yeah, that he's killing
FaceTime
somebody.
and he's like this and they never flat out say it. She's like I don't think you have to do these job interviews, and he's like it's look, I just got one more to do, and once I'm done with that, I think we'll be all good. Like nothing's weird. I'm just with my buddy. We're just hanging out.
Yeah, the camera doesn't work, and then he's just like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm in the woods. This is it. This is the last one.
He's got blood on his face from ripping his tooth out. He's like, it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's his own blood. Yeah, he rips his own tooth out. His blood's in there too. But yeah, he puts a funnel in the guy's mouth, and I don't know if it's chunks of meat or whatever the fuck it is, but he's gagging him to death to make it be like he vomited and choked on his own vomit and died.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then
Which I guess is him being smarter, because I guess that's what he like learned from the other two guys, was by not having a body, it like made things way more difficult. Like the cops are like, yeah, these two guys are missing, and he's like, well, yeah, when I heard they both died, and they're like, whoa, no one said they died. Why do you think they died?
Yeah.
So he's like,
When they're gone,
he like
they're
definitely
dead.
learns. Yeah, he gets, which again maybe is supposed to show that like he is good at he's good at learning things. Like, yeah, he's not stupid. Like as he goes on and does this sport, he becomes better and better at killing people. Like he figures out better ways to do it. That he knows he has to make this seem like it was an accident, and that there has to be a body so that the cops won't come to his house and be like, hey, weird, a third paper guy is missing. Like, that's super weird that all these paper guys that are all missing now. So he figures it out. He's gotta find a better way to get rid of this guy than whatever else. And like, yeah, it's like at first when I was watching it, it doesn't seem like it makes any sense to like bury him. Like it seems like you could just like choke him while he's out. But he thinks about it's like, well, there can't be any signs of a struggle, so I have to bury him so that he can't fight back. Because then, like, if stuff gets broken or there's a struggle on his body, they'll think, well, that's really weird. So he thinks of all the contingencies for what might come up in an investigation, because he's done it twice and he messed up the other two times and didn't do things right.
I mean,
So
to
it's
a
like
degree.
by the third one, he's a professional.
I guess if you want to overthink it, burying the guy definitely doesn't seem like the best method, because like what you got to unbury him without bruising him, and I assume wash him, because like
They wrapped him up in a tarp. That's what the tarp was for.
yeah, but he puts him back in. Well, you still don't think he's gonna get dirty?
I'm sure he's somewhat dirty.
They're gonna be like, why are there chunks of dirt on this guy? Maybe they're just like, yeah, they see he's drunk and they're like, we don't fucking care. We're just he's just drunk himself to death.
He had a fire outside. He could have fell over outside in the dirt.
Yeah,
during his bonfire,
covered up the burial, the leaves and stuff. So
yeah,
they're not asking. They're not asking questions. I mean, yeah, he did get him to use the bonfire, which he said that's the whole reason he moved out there and never did it, which was like another. That's like another thing. That's like a thing I deal with a lot, where it's just like, oh, I really want to do this thing. You finally get all the things to do the thing, and then like you don't make time to do it. But the best part about this movie is that it all works out in the end. Murdering people's the way to go. You perfect that murder, and life comes back the way it should.
He does get lucky. I do like that it does. Yeah, at some point there is like just some dumb luck that works in his favor. Like a lot of it is he did all the work, but when the wife of the first guy he kills, Goo, says that like the reason he was so depressed was because they shut down his paper factory because of some like, it's very vague, but it's like some bad business deal happened between the other paper companies that led to like his paper company being shut down. And like they show him that picture of that guy, and it's the night he's like winning the Pulp Man award, and the second guy goes in the background, and they're like, yeah, she said that was the guy that like ruined the paper companies because he made like bad decisions or did something. And it's like, yeah, so we're pretty sure he must have taken the gun, shot Go, and now he's on the run.
Hmm.
So yeah, those guys are both taken care of. Like we know what happened.
And if that wife wasn't having an affair, then our dude would have been caught way early on because like his face was seen
Yeah.
and
Yeah, she
all.
has a reason. Yeah, she has a reason to lie to the cops to not get them involved in looking into like her house anymore. Like she just needs them to look somewhere else.
Yeah, I also really like some of the shots put him in the darkness. Like that shot. There's two shots. The one where he's being interviewed and the sun's in his face, and the other one where his son is. He needs his son to be in his face to block the sun, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like what's really cool about the shot is that it feels like everything the light wants to reveal this guy, but like he's trying to choose this like darker path like to get out of the, to work his way like under the shadows and stuff.
Yeah.
They do get rid of the dogs when they have too many mouths to feed, and he's like, "I'll get those dogs back," and he fucking does, which pretty much seems to be like the probably the biggest lie any parent would ever tell their kid if they have to get rid of the dogs. Like, oh, I'm sure we'll be able to afford them back soon.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah, and
do
we didn't even
the
talk about
end.
the also money issues with the lessons where like the teacher's like, I can't teach her anymore, and they think it's because of like financial issues, and she's like, she's just way better of a player than I am. And when he's talking about, he actually is talking about his real daughter when he's talking to the shoe salesman, his second victim, and he's like, I have to now she needs a goddamn $50,000 cello. He's like, oh, I can afford these shoes right now. And yeah, you do have that great shot where like at the end he's going off to work, and the mom and son hear his daughter playing the cello, and she's like, fucking, she is a prodigy. She is like excellent at it. She's playing it for the dogs and starts playing it for her mom. And that ending up until that point is like the like super happy, everything worked out for this family, everything's gonna be great for this family. And then you cut to him in his new job. I guess I'm assuming it's at like the same warehouses that have been now like updated and changed, but it's all automated to a point where like he he's almost so unnecessary. He's just watching over this stuff. Like they even tell him like you don't have to hit the paper with a stick. I guess they're checking for like air pockets or something. They're like, we got machines that do that. He still shows up to work with his
He still
stick.
does it. He still does it, which is funny. Like the machine's doing it above his head, and like
Yeah.
he's still tapping it with his stick, like trying to be old fashioned. But like, yeah, his stance is completely different from the beginning of the movie. He has that big speech that he's going to defend the workers.
Mhm.
That's like, you can't get rid of all of us. You need us. And during his interview, they're like, well, we're going to have to get rid of everybody, like, because it's all AI. So you just have to be there to run it. But everyone else is getting fired, and like, not a problem, right? And he's like, nope, not a problem. Like,
I mean, he does celebrate when he gets in the warehouse. He has that big celebratory dance that he does. And then
I think the end though implies too that like this is still just temporary. Like they'll find a way to like get rid of him within like the next 5 years. Like eventually the whole thing will be AI. They won't even need him to even be there to watch over them all the time. So it's like all he did was like push everything off for another few years before they still completely eliminate him again.
yeah, absolutely. It's also like even though he's happy, like he's very happy that he has work now. It's a very ominous, dark, like awful feeling to see like nobody there anymore, and it's just these like machines. Like they have
It
that.
also feels like the machines are going to kill him. Like the one, like he almost gets like run over by the machine carrying a giant roll of paper. Like yeah, it seems like he's going to get like killed in some accident from like one of the machines killing him.
I felt like he was like testing it or something. Like he walks right in its way and it stops and like goes around him. But yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he does die somewhere in there or something. But it doesn't have like an overly like besides the feeling of of emptiness and plainness and no life in his line of work. It's like, I don't know, I guess things kind of did work out for him. I guess if his daughter's a child prodigy, then they'll be rich. They won't need to worry about any of them working.
Yeah. I do also love when he's like going off to work, like to celebrate his first day, and he's like, I know what I'll do when I get home, a pig roast. And the mom and son are just like, no. He's like, why? And they're just like, I don't think it's the season for pig roasts right now.
Yeah, there's so many little dynamics in this entire movie that are phenomenal. Like I said, it works the whole way throughout the whole, like every moment on screen is definitely important. I feel like he cut it all out. But what I'm interested in seeing is there's like a director's cut that's coming out on the Blu-ray or whatever, but that Blu-ray doesn't come out till October. I don't know why it's so long away, like so far away. I saw this, I don't remember when, December or something. I saw it in IMAX, and then it's like a year later before it to come to physical media, but there is a director's cut where like they add like 16 minutes or something to it. So I'm interested to see what the hell's added to it. Like where did he cut? Where did he take it out?
I mean, I could see maybe more with the middle guy go, because like we said, that's the one that he has the least interaction with. He interacts with the first and third guy a lot more. So maybe for pacing, they cut down that guy's role, like a little less of like the investigation into that guy, because he follows the first guy around for multiple days before he does anything, and then he has an extended scene with the final guy that he kills. So I could see that being one place that they like maybe had cut some stuff for to cut the runtime that maybe is added back in.
And it works
the most
because,
notable
you don't
thing,
need to relate to the second guy. The second guy is basically the body. Like he's important to the plot when he's dead. Like when he's a body, becomes the most important thing in the entire plot, where it's like, now I can get caught. I have this body on me. My wife could find this body. My wife does find this body. My son sees this body. I am not a very good killer. And technically he's a serial killer by the end, so just think about that. But yeah, Park Chan-wook, I don't understand, like, I feel like he really does knock all these movies out of the park. Like, every single one's been very, very, very good the last, like, few years. So, I'm always surprised when, like, South Korea, like, it doesn't get nominated for, like, an Academy Award, when I feel like you're probably looking at one of their best films of the year, and it's usually by this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think maybe it's just too dark, because, like, what's the moral of the story? Like,
I don't know, but it feels like even to say like they're too dark, that feels like every foreign language film that gets nominated for the Academy Award, they're all super dark. They're not happy foreign films. Like Parasite is not a happy film. Even what won this past year? Which one was the
Sentimental Value wasn't a happy movie.
Yeah, they're all, I mean, not dark in the same way as people getting murdered by a serial killer, but like they're never happy movies, which I feel like that's the biggest joke or cliche that everyone makes about like foreign cinema, is like, oh my god, that like the French movies, they're so dark and depressing. Like the Swedish movies, they're so dark and depressing. Like all the movies, all the foreign movies are always dark and depressing.
I don't think I saw all of them, but like The Secret Agent was about a guy fighting against his government, where like his death was inevitable. Like he's not getting out of this. And then, but It Was an Accident is this Iranian film, and it's so fucking funny because this guy thinks that he had caught his torturer and he's going to kill the torturer, but then he has second thoughts that maybe he doesn't have the right guy. So it becomes kind of like a weird slapstick, like Four Lions type comedy, where it's like, where he's just like trying to get his friends together to be like, is this the guy that was torturing us? And they're like, maybe, but I can't really like 100% say. But I also think that even though we're saying the other films aren't as dark, I feel like when you think of the message of this film, it feels like it could be interpreted as, somebody's like, it worked for that guy. Like he didn't learn any lessons, but he does learn lessons. He learns how to be proficient in something that he's not well trained in. But yeah, I thought this was a great movie. I think he nailed it on the head. It's definitely his funniest movie that I've seen, unless the Cyborg one is funnier. Who knows?
We'll have to find out.
Yeah, you'll never know.
Still maybe the second funniest South Korean movie we've talked about this year, because Save the Green Planet was still hilarious.
Park Chan-wook is like situationally funny. What makes this movie so funny is like the circumstances that this guy puts himself in. And Save the Green Planet like starts off like very, very wacky, where like it's grounded in the sense that like this guy is going to kidnap and interrogate somebody and possibly murder them because they're an alien. But like he's so far out of his mind that like, and you're looking at him with this like strainer and pull on his head and all kind of weird stuff that like it's just hard to take it seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll balance out the next movie with the comedy. I'll pick like the most depressing thing. Did we do Sallow yet?
Yeah.
We did, because that's the reason I watched it again and then had a newfound appreciation for the movie. I do remember that. Yeah, first time I'm like, I'm never watching this again. And then, was it you? Was it James? Who the fuck recommended that movie? We watched it again. I'm like, you know what? It is gross, but I'm starting to see why it's more of an important film than I previously thought. But yeah, no other choice currently as of today. You can watch it on Hulu. October's when the physical release comes out, which is supposed to have the director's cut. Maybe the director's cut pops up then.
Hopefully.
But we'll see you in 2 more weeks. Thanks for listening. We're Cinema D'Amore. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with news and information on upcoming episodes. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Pandora, Alexa, or iHeartRadio. It would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to our podcast on your platform of choice. We also appreciate feedback, so rate us, review us, and let us know what you think. And above all else, thank you for listening.